Hello everyone, welcome back to another video tutorial. In this video we're looking at another BMED past paper question, and this is taken from the building option, and I believe this is from the year 2024 as well. Now here is the question. Now this section says section A, module 1, question 1. Figure 1 shows a fully dimensioned plan view of a reinforced concrete stair. Alright, this is the concrete stair. Information on the riser is also included. I'm assuming I don't see anything. Using a scale of 1 in 20, draw section DD. I'm assuming this is DD. Alright. This section must be fully labeled, showing all the reinforcement placement and the difference in the elevation and handrail. Alright, so this is what we're going to be doing now. We're going to be doing a sectional drawing of this stair here, and we need to show handrails and all of that stuff. So we're going to do all of that. So what I'm going to do here, alright, since we're going to be cutting across here, I'm going to just copy this drawing that I have here, alright, because I'm going to be using it as a reference. Alright, so let me move this to my right and let's get into things. Alright, so I have no further use for that dimension there. Alright, so what I'm going to do here, I'm going to assume the riser is about 8 inches. Alright, I'm going to assume it's about 8 inches. Now the option is yours. From here, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go ahead and offset 8 inches. I believe my drawing space here is in millimeter, so 8 inches will be equal to, let me do this, 8 times 25 approximately 200. Alright, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to offset 200 up like this. Alright, and I'll just continue to do that. And this is just this instant here, because the other option was that you could manually draw your line. So for example, you'll go up by 200, and then you'll go across by the width that is here, 305. You'll go across by 305, alright, and then you'll simply repeat the process by going up 200, so on and so forth. For if you are going by this route here, all you need to do is copy the first two lines that is drawn, the horizontal and the vertical, and you'll simply place them head and tail on each other like this, using here as your base point. Alright, and you'll do this until you have the required amount of threads required. So for example, this one here has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 threads. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then one more would make the 5th thread. Alright, and then finally you'll have your landing area, which is inside of here. Alright, let me get rid of this here. Alright, now this will require one more vertical. It will require one more vertical to go to the landing, that is, so 200 millimeter. Alright, let me just grab this and move it out of the way. Probably move it up a bit. Alright, now in terms of like the length, you'll have to determine that. Now I'm just going to quickly check on this here to see what the landing length is, and that is 1066. So I'm going to draw a horizontal line across here, 1066. Alright, so that will be the landing. Now I'm sure you know stairs aren't like this. It will have a thickness. Alright, and bear in mind that this is a concrete stair as well. Alright, so what I'm going to do, this is the way I normally encourage person to draw their stairs in terms of like adding depth to it. When it comes on to the step portion here, what I'm going to have you do, I'm going to have you draw a line across the base like this. Alright, then this line here, you'll offset that line to get the thickness of the stair. Alright, now how much are we doing it? We're going to make it be 150 millimeter. That's about 6 inches. Alright, so let's go ahead and offset 150 millimeter, which is approximately 6 inches. We're going to do that there, and we're also going to do that for the landing as well. All right. Once you have done so, you can delete that reference line that you have there initially. From there, you can select the two corners of the lines that you offsetted. Now, this is now our landing. All right. Now, with this being our landing and we not knowing what is on this side of it, what I'll do, I'll add a break line to it. So I'll just draw a line across like this, and I'm manually drawing mine. You can get this from tool palette, but I like to manually draw mine. So I'm going to draw a line from here. Let me turn off ortho, and I'm going to draw a line inwards like this, and then back out like this, and then back in again. All right. Once I've done so, I'll clean up by trimming away some of the portions that I do not need. And if you have ever seen me doing this before, you'll know what I'm talking about. So there you go, we have our break line. Now you can do the same thing here as well. All right, so from here now, we're going to identify the floor level. The floor level is at the bottom of the riser. All right, this is the riser. The vertical members of the treads, those are known as the risers. All right, so this is your floor level. Let me just write a little note there so you can see that that is my floor level. I'm going to write that there. Let me write it. Floor level. All right, so that's my floor level. All right. Now, because it's a section, you could also draw the footing for the staircase as well. I'm going to quickly mock up something here. I'm going to offset this. Well, I'm going to draw this line here down by about 2 feet, which is about 6 inches. All right. 2 feet, which is about not 6 inches. It will be 600 millimeters. I believe that's what I entered a while ago. Let me double check. 600 millimeters, and then I'll draw the pad footing similar to the one that you'll draw for your house. All right, so it will be 150 for the thickness, then down 300, and then back across 450, and then back up 300, and then back across 150, and then up we go by a certain amount. I'm just going to draw a random line, and then after I can clean up my drawing by trimming what needs to be trimmed. And you'll notice that this line here, the ground floor level line here, runs across our stair. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to clean out the line that passes through the stairs. All right, that's this portion here, like that. Now that's your stairs. That is your stair. What is missing now? We need to add the reinforcement to the staircase. So we need to add the steel. Now, how are we going to do this? The first thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to offset this baseline here inwards by 25 millimeter. That 25 millimeters there is the cover. All right. Now the cover is the distance between the steel and the outside of the staircase. All right, the outside surface. Now the reason why we say 1 inch or 25 millimeter, this is to protect the steel. As you know, if steel is exposed to the elements, then it will rust, and then that's not a good thing. All right. So the concrete is what is going to protect the steel. All right. Now a standard measurement that is used is that if it is underneath the ground, then it's 2 inches. If it's above ground, then it is 1 inches. And there's other variations that will determine what the cover of the reinforcement will be. So we're using 25 millimeters here. So let's go ahead and offset that 25 millimeters. Now there are a lot of controversies when it comes on to reinforcement of staircases. All right, so we're also offsetting this one as well. All right, so we're offsetting that as well. We're going to offset from the top as well, 25. All right. You know, this down here is a pad footing already. Let's offset 50 up. All right, and let's draw a line up in the middle. All right. Let's offset on the sides, 50. and let's offset this line up by 50. Let's zoom in on this so we can see what's going on. For here, I'm just roughing things up. I'm not making it too, it's going to be accurate, but not, you're not going to see much curves. Everything is going to be straight lines. All right. Now this line that we have offsetted, we're going to use that as our cutting plane to get rid of here and here. And now once that is done, we can get rid of that reference line there. Now I'm also going to draw circles here and here for the matting for the pad for the staircase foundation. I'm going to draw a circle. I'm just going to draw it out in the space here, and that is going to be equal to 6 millimeter in radius. All right, I'm going to copy this or move this one here. Let me turn off ortho and then place it in the corner here. Then I'll copy that and I'll place the next one. Let me turn on ortho again to here and then here. All right, now if you want, you can add thickness to this rebar here as well, or if you're smart, you can always just create a layer, and that layer you're going to increase the line weighting for that layer. For example, if I were to turn on line weighting now, you see how that looks thick. So when this is printed, we're not going to have any issues with only seeing a thin line. All right, so in this case, it's okay. If not, then you'll have to offset the lines to get the thickness. All right, but this is the strategy that I'm going to be using. All right, now for these as well, these round steel that I've just drawn the circles, I'm going to do the same. So let me just utilize the match properties command, MA, enter, select the line that I want to copy the property from, which is this one here. Then click on the line that I want to apply the property to, which is, let me do that again, click, right, let me try that again, match properties, the line that you want to copy the property from, click, then right click, let's try that again, match properties. Alright, so once you click on it, you should see the cursor change to that little paintbrush there. Then you can simply select the lines that you want to change the property from, and adjustments will be made. Alright, so for this one here, I'm going to draw a line across here. Alright, to represent the bend portion of this steel here. Let me click on this and then add it there, and let's fillet this one here and this one here. All right, and we'll do the same match properties thing by clicking and clicking to get what we desire. All right, so that is it right there. Nothing too complicated in relation to that. So now once that is done, we can also do the same exact thing to our bottom steel member here, because if we were to say we're going to copy and all of that stuff and give thickness, then it's going to take a lot of time, and as you know, the exam time is very short, very, very, very short. All right, based on the amount of tasks that must be done. All right, so we have steel at the bottom, we have steel at the top. All right, the steel is going to go into this here, all right, and then go down to tie in with the foundation here. How will this look? Let me copy this line here and show you. So it's going to be basically beside it like this, close but close enough. All right, then you can always fillet here. All right, now it will not go all the way down into the foundation. Let me turn off the thickness line weighting and then adjust my lines. Let's do that again. All right, and again. All right, so that is good enough. All right, so now we need to add the horizontal steels that are running across, similar to what we did down here. All right, and we're going to be using the same steel, so I'm just going to copy this one here and I'm going to place it where it needs to be. For example, and I'm going to be eyeballing this one here. I'm going to be eyeballing it, and I'm going to be placing it somewhere along here, and I'm giving it some gap so that when my line weighting is turned on, it matches up perfectly with it. Alright, so this one here is randomly placed. Alright, the rest of them is going to be placed accordingly, alright, or a bit better. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to copy this line here up, alright, but I'll need a reference line. Alright, I'll need a reference line to ensure that it stays where it should be. Alright, so what I'll do is that I'll copy this line here and I'll place it somewhere inside of here. Alright, now I can use this line here as my reference line. So if I go copy, let me turn off that thickness thing there again. Alright, so I go copy. Alright, click here, make sure that all is well here. Alright, and once I have that in place, I'm going to ensure that I use this as my guideline. Let me zoom in. Alright, and then I'm going to enter the spacing. Alright, now the spacing is going to be anywhere between from 150 to 200 millimeters on center. So from one center of one steel to the next, it's going to be that amount. I'm using the 200 now. Alright, so let's go 200, enter. Is it the copy command? Yes, it is. Let me double check on this one here to ensure that all is well. I think what is happening is that it's snapping. So let me try that again. CP, enter, grab that there, and I'm not seeing my dynamic tracking line popping up. Alright, let me try this. Alright, let me try and enter the value, which is 200. Alright, so that's where it should be. Now once that is in place, I'm going to use this line here as a reference, or I'm going to copy that number or steel there, and I'm going to place it and start using here as my base point, and I'll make a bunch of copies going up. Well, I'll make a bunch of copies going up. Alright, now if all is not well, it's going to be leaving the line, or it is going to go exactly the way it should be. Alright, so let's continue up. Alright, continuing. Alright, continuing. Alright, and continuing even more. And here as well. Now, depending on the type of builder you are or engineer that you are, you might leave this as is. Alright, you might leave this as is. But some engineer or designer will do this a bit different. So similar to roof slab, you'll have over support as well, and that is what this one here is. Alright, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to repeat the process of drawing a line across here, the base, like this, and then offset that line by the 25, because that is the cover. Alright, then you can erase that line, no further use. Let's match some properties. Alright, so now that you have that line there, this line here is going to go all the way down to this as well. EX, enter, send that to that one there. Okay, and it's the same treatment where you'll grab onto the line. Let me copy this, and let's put it up somewhere here. Now if you're wondering about the length of this here, for this here it doesn't really matter now, but there is a standard bend convention, which is you basically will be using the lap. Alright, so think it's what? We have some ratios, 40 times the diameter, so on and so forth. So this is what we use here. Alright, but for this purpose here, this length is perfectly fine, which is about 8 inches or so. Alright, so we're going to have it like that. And similar to how we have steel on the bottom here, we're going to have steel on the top here as well. All right. How am I going to do this? I'm going to make a line. I'm going to draw a line from here, the center of here, to this one here, and it should be perpendicular to it. All right. So I'm going to use that as my guide, and I'm going to select these lines here, or these steel member here, these circles. All right. And I'm going to copy them up. All right. But before I do that, I'm going to draw another line from this one here to here. You might be wondering why I'm doing this. All right. It's because I want to find out where the center of this here is. All right. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to copy these circles here. So let me go ahead and select them. All right, let's stop there. And I'm going to copy. So I'm going to go CP, enter. I'm going to grab onto it right here, and I'm going to place a copy right there. All right. And that will add the steel to the top there. Once that is out of the way, I can remove my reference line because I have no further use for them. So I now have steel there. You'll realize it's as if I've staggered them, so they're like the interlock in a sense. All right. So that is what is happening there. So let's look at what is going on up here, because down here is basically finished. All right. So we need to start with what is happening up here. Again, there is some more conflicts when it relates to reinforcing this area here, but I'm going to teach you my expert opinion in relation to this here. Some persons would think that you should join these like this, all right, and then that would be it. While some say no, that's crap, because what happens when the stairs comes under pressure, what happens is that it will crack along here, and this half will fall down and this half here will be somewhere else. All right. What other engineer does is that they'll cross this one here with this, and then they'll cross this steel here with this one here. All right. And then someone say, all right, no, but then you have all of this gap here. What happens to this zero location here? All right. Now, this is my recommendation, is that I'll splice a steel from here, lap a steel from here. It will go across like that. All right. And then it will be the same thing along here as well. Lap a steel, and it will go across. All right. And then that bend there would reinforce this area. All right. So that is my technique and my strategy for reinforcing staircases. All right. Now again, we have to add steels to this as well. So we are going to grab onto this one here, CP, enter, grab onto it, and then we'll place it again. One would be somewhere along here. Let me not snap to anything. And then now I can copy this steel from center to center. Let me turn on auto. This would be 200 as well. Nothing changes. And then once you have that initial one, you can simply grab that one there and copy it, with your base point being the center of the first one, and you simply place your steel. All right, so that is it right there. Again, down here as well, we'll need the reinforcement as well. So what do? I need to find the center, and I'm going to find it now. All right, so I'll grab onto these here, these reinforcement, or these steel bars here, grab onto them, and then I'll copy them down. So for example, I'll grab onto the center right here, no, not there, but here, and then place it where I need it to be, somewhere along there. All right, and that will give me what I want. Again, we'll do the same thing to ensure that there is reinforcement at all locations. So now this is fully reinforced. The only thing that is left for us to do now is to do our annotations and add the railings and all that fancy stuff. So let's get into that part there. All right, now all you need is your leader line here, right? And what are you doing? You're going to point to this reinforcement here, all right, and then you label it, and you're going to see what steel it is and all that stuff. All right, now if you're using an annotated space, then ensure that you make your adjustments here as well. All right, now, and also you're going to add your dimensions. So you're going to dimensions basically everything that was given to you. Yeah, dimension your riser, which is 8 inches, and you dimension your treads, which is 305. All right, and likewise you'll dimension your landing. All right, let me double do that one again. You'll dimension your landing. All right, and they mention something about height, right? So you want to ensure that you dimension from, say, here. Let me start it from top of stairs to the floor level. All right, and you could also dimension the thickness of the slab itself. All right, and then you could do other dimensions, so from the bottom of the slab to the flat top of the floor, and you place it as well. All right, let me shift this one out a bit more, zoom in. All right, so about there. Okay, all right, so let's add our railings, because that's basically the only thing outside of labeling the steel components. All right, because we need to add those. Now, what are we working with the stairs? All right, now typically we'll set that at about 900 to 1000 millimeters. Again, same way in which we draw, we offsetted this line here. We're going to do the same thing for the railings as well. So draw a line across like this, and then you offset that by your 900 to 1000. I'm going to use 900 in this instance. All right, and that will be what? The railing. All right, how thick is the railing? A specification is given to you, then you should do that one. Typically railings are about 2 to 3 inches. So if I go ahead and offset this by, like, say let's say 75 millimeters. All right, this will be the railing. Now, depending on whether the railings are connected to the stairs or it is connected to the wall, will determine what will happen. All right, now if it's connected to the stairs, then you know you're going to have balusters to support it. So what will you do? Let me draw a line up like this, and this will be my baluster. All right, same thickness for the railings I'll do for this to make things simple. All right, to make things simple. All right, so I'll go ahead and I'll offset that same 75 like that. That should touch the floor as well. EX, enter, send that down, and then now I'll trim things off here. All right, then now how far does it hang over? That's totally up to you and how you want to do yours. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and just draw a line across here perpendicularly, and just draw a circle to make mine fancy. All right, from there I can always trim what I don't need. So TR, enter, and then get rid of all of this here. All right, so that will be it right there. Now for the rest of it, it will be the similar principle. For the landing, again, you'll draw a line up from here, just like that, and then you can offset it by that 75. All right, you'll do the same thing on the other end over here, so you can copy this if you like and place it right there. And then now, same treatment, you offset, enter, let's go with the 900 and let's send that one up. All right, and then offset the 75 again. All right, again we trim away any excess, which is basically all of this here, well, most of it anyways, and you can fill out the corners. All right, now for the rest of it you can just simply again fill out the corners. All right, now see what is happening here. All right, now this needs to be pushed forward, so depending on the arrangement for it, you'll decide on that one there. All right, so here is my recommendations in relation to pulling this forward. All right, so all you're going to be doing, grabbing onto that there and then move it forward. All right, once you move it forward, then you can just simply trim away any excess, and the same treatment here, and you make the adjustments to your drawing. But guess what, you need to add more baluster to the railing, all right, to support it. All right, you'll have to add a lot more baluster to support it. All right, let me extend those lines over, EX, enter, send those over to that. Let's trim away all of this and all of this, and we move this. Well, let's redraw that one there. So let's go circle, enter, and then we just place something in this space here. All right, or you could leave it as is. So for the rest of it now, you simply decide how you're going to do your spacing. I could go ahead and I could put one in the middle of here, so I can do that now to add more baluster so it doesn't look too unsafe. So one there, and that should be good enough because that's 3 feet. All right, and then now for along here, just project some lines up, so probably every other 2, so one up here and offset that 75. All right, and probably you could put it in the middle here or somewhere, because that might be the most ideal. So that line that I've just drawn is just for reference purpose, so I'll move it using there. And since we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, let's put it in the middle, the one that makes the third, smack in the center right there, and let's extend it up to our railing, EX, enter, and that will be there. Now let's do the dimensioning, not the dimensioning, but the labeling of your reinforced members. So how are we doing this? Lead a line, let's point to the reinforcement, click, and then we basically describe the steel. So for example, if you're going to write a number, you could say for example 12 millimeter diameter symbol. How do you get the symbol? You can get it from symbols here and then find diameter. All right, and then you could put steel bar, whatever it is. I'm going to put high TS, all right, for high tensile steel. All right, and then I'm going to put at, and I'm going to put 200 millimeter O / C, all right, for on center. All right, so that is what that there means. So let me just sort out my labeling here, keep things a bit cleaner. All right, so that is it there. So it is a 12 millimeter diameter high tensile steel bar placed at 200 millimeter on center. So from the center of this one here to the center of this one here is 200 millimeters. All right, and you'll do the same thing for the others as well. So I'm just going to use that one label. I'm just going to add an extra leader line for, let me turn off ortho for these here. All right, and that will basically describe that there. Now for the top and the horizontal and all that stuff, It's the same treatment. I'm going to use the same exact thing because they're the same size reinforcement, and I'll simply point them to what I'm referring to. For example, the bottom steel there and the top steel there. Alright, and then now you capture some other dimensions, so we're putting those in just because. Alright, I'll just do some more dimensions. Alright, and you can also add dimensions from here as well. So let's see, zoom in, and so they can know what you did or what you're expecting. Alright, so again, you'll also capture the height of the railing, and that's the finish height for the railing. Alright, 3 feet 2 inches, that's what that is saying there. Alright, we have the dimension for the treads already and the risers. Let's add one more for the riser, so it's pretty clear. Alright, so this is basically it. You'll have to name it. So you go and you can use basic text. You don't need to go all out for it. Alright, so you go there and you say section through D. Alright, section through DD. Alright, and they would know what DD is, and then you'll add the scale at the end. Say right scale, and you're going to put 1, I believe they said 20, so it's 1 in 20. Alright, so that is it right there. Now I don't like when mine is like this. I like my text to be a bit larger, so this is going to be 75, and then my scale is always a tad smaller, and I'll orient it to my right like that. Alright, and there you go. This is how you basically you'll produce this section through this staircase here. Now what will this look like when you are laying it out? Here's my drawing space. Let me double tap. Let me find my drawing, zoom in on that there. Alright, let me adjust my scale to see how things look. 1 in 20. Alright, so that's my 1 in 20, and perfect. It fits my paper perfectly. So when you go ahead and you print, and let's do a quick preview. Alright, now you see. Now you see how my steel bars are looking? Lovely, lovely, lovely. Alright, now this is what we want to see. There's other things that we could do to make this drawing look even better, but this is good enough. This is good enough. And this is something that you would have scored you high marks in the exam. Alright, still more work to do, but you do this amount and then complete the other question, and if there's more time remaining, then you can move on or come back and perfect these drawings here. Alright, now if you found this video helpful, don't forget to go ahead, like, share and subscribe, because here's where we post all our BMED content. Now this is from unit 2. Again, this is 2024. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.